Hey everybody, check it out. What's up? It's Hercules Porsche's professional intro. Yay!
I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today I have wanted to bring you a special treat. This footage is from over 1 year ago during the Star Wars Battlefront Beta. I had one piece of unused footage left, which I have preserved until today. And it's wonderful because we get to look at all the differences between how Battlefront was back then and how it is now. Apologies for the glitch you're seeing in the footage right now. There shouldn't be too much of this. Starting off right away, we're doing a maneuver that we could no longer do in Star Wars Battlefront. You see, I have slipped in behind these guys, in behind their spawn point. There used to be a significant difference in basically where you could go on the map. There's now a much thicker red line preventing you from getting in behind their spawns. So, of course, in that fight, I opened up a bit like a newbie. Also, my aim's was definitely weaker back then than it is now. Obviously, and of course, locking on is totally different. The most recent patch totally changed how starfighters locked on. But yeah, I'm in a little dogfight mode, and it's gone now. But what I should have mentioned was actually the radar. The radar is different. You can see dots indicating where the enemies are on the radar. That is no longer a thing. So, yep. And also, it was a lot more difficult to actually jump in a starfighter because there was a lot more competition to actually get in them. As you can see, that X-wing did appear on the radar. He's there right now. And there we go. And there I'm just being a dirty little camper here. You can see that red line. There is a red line there, but it's just not far up enough to protect the X-wings as they're spawning. Also, it's very visible. The new red line kind of sneaks up on you. You think you're fine, and then all of a sudden, the game is telling you, oh, by the way, you've crossed the threshold. You can't be here. And then you gotta head back without. I mean, of course, eventually you memorize where the red lines are, but you know, when they first moved them, there was no indicator on the map, so you'd go from thinking you were fine to being in the red line really quick. Of course, you have those 10 seconds to recover and get out of there, but it also looks like there might be a little more stability on the actual firing of the TIE fighter. I noticed when I try to do these strafing runs now, I get a kind of like wobbly effect on my TIE fighter. It doesn't happen with the X-Wings or any of the TIE Interceptor. It's just on the TIE fighter now. They've added this weird wobbling effect when so it makes it very difficult to do strafing runs as a TIE fighter now. Obviously, my tactics in these fighter situations are playing out a lot differently than they would. I would be if I was playing now, I would be spending a lot more effort getting a height advantage. Obviously, I managed to do okay there. I've scored a couple kills so far. But yeah, I'd be using flips and tricks more. I'd be going for the height advantage more. I'd be pulling out faster during dogfights. So yeah, I definitely play a lot smarter now than I would have in back then. So my dogfighting skills have definitely, my approach to doing this is a lot different than it used to be. Also, it feels like the camera is zoomed in closer on the back. There's something kind of nice about that. It kind of and of course, finally a collision death, which there's collision damage, but instant collision deaths are no longer a thing. Darth Vader just spawned there, so but apart from Darth Vader, everybody else is in the same uniform, so all the crazy amount of skins we have I don't mind them, but there was definitely something about everybody being in the same uniform that kind of, gave you a little more of a feel like you were all in this together. And I'm in an ATST. I didn't know about sprinting back then. I can't remember if they even had it in the beta, but yeah. These days I'd definitely be sprinting my ATST up there. I'm really happy I saved this footage because I did a little bit of everything. I've got fighter footage, hero footage, this ATST footage, big variety. I think maybe the ATSTs were a little more powerful back then. Already lost close to half my health, so. And I didn't know back then. Oh yeah, apparently it did. So I hopped out of that ATST. I was one of the early adopters, I guess, of the hop out before the thing blows up strategy. My team's doing quite well here. We've got the uplinks locked down. Definitely, it occurs to me now, I should have hopped in that other white turret that's over there. They're still decently powerful, but back then they were just monsters. You could just decimate people with those big white turrets. And here I'm in an anti-vehicle turret. Not being particularly effective. Let's see, what else is there to say here? Should have been angling for their turret right here. Of course, spawn zones were on the ground were easier to push into as well. It's something I should have mentioned. Didn't have there was no partner spawn respawn bonus. You notice I only have 4 shield power-ups because I don't think back then I had the option to purchase shield power-ups with my credits. The only way I could find them was by finding, increase that was by finding chargers on the ground. So I was definitely rationing them at this point. These days I just buy tons and tons of those shield power-ups with my credits. I think the ATST spawn locations have changed. It's actually been a while since I've been able to appreciate the track marks of the ATs. And again, I'm just marching up there slowly because I didn't have the I didn't know that we could sprint these things. And I'm not playing the anti-air with these things either. I hadn't figured out at that point that ATSTs that the missiles tracked enemy aircraft. That. Oh, let's see. Oh, I'm going against Luke. How's this gonna play out? Oh, finishing off their hero. That was fun. So that would have been a newbie Luke Skywalker player who didn't realize that Luke could get trampled to death by an ATST.
Rebel targeting sequence disrupted. Continue the operation as planned.
Yeah, I'm just progressing up here. Obviously keeping an eye on that door.
You must shut it down to stop a Y-wing bomber attack.
Trying to clear this this side before I push in because I don't want to get flanked. But see on the radar the red line being more visible. And oh look, I've discovered a hero token. And taking cover rather than using up that precious personal shield. And here I am. I have gotten to be Darth Vader. And already at 99% health. You see the mechanics at the time were very different. There was kind of what they had at the time during beta was they had a hero mechanic that worked similar to the old Battlefront games, where you gradually lost health. Obviously, I don't think in the old Battlefront games you lost health quite this quickly. But as you can see, I've already dropped, let's see, almost 20% of my health just from taking my time walking up here. I am sprinting up here, but because the spawn location is so far back, I don't think we spawn quite this far back with the new heroes, but just enjoying the trample. Obviously, there's no deflect meter. I think we had infinite. I could be wrong. I think we had infinite deflects back then. Could be wrong about that. And another deflect kill. It seems obvious that, like, I am gotten used to people playing. Oh, yeah, we can still deflect grenades. Probably should have just worked harder on avoiding getting flanked here. But since we're in the defend the walker phase, you know, those kills weren't too vital. Our blasters, of course, we had less blasters, less skins, less star cards, less of everything really. And now we certainly didn't have upgraded star cards like we have now. So there weren't a whole lot of build options. I don't know if the screen shakes quite this much in Battlefront now. I don't think it does shake quite this much when you're next to an AT-AT, or the AT-AT. It could be wrong about that, but it does seem like the shake is significantly higher. There seems to be like a really crisp feel to the graphics. I can't quite put my finger on it, but of course, a big difference. Getting to play as a TIE Interceptor in Phase 3. The TIE Interceptor tokens were taken out. And wow, we got a crazy battle up here in the sky now. A lot of targets to pick from. I guess am I already heading over to my... Oh, no. Okay, so... Another thing worth mentioning is win percentages. On this map, the Imperials won the vast majority of the time. That's no longer true, but some of the newer maps definitely still favor the Empire quite a bit, although the Bespin map favors the Rebels quite a bit. It's interesting that it's been fixed and yet hasn't been fixed. So the air speeders looks like they had better actual combat abilities back then. I'm pretty sure I just took some damage from an enemy airspeeder. They're not useless now, but yeah, it can be very difficult to aim the weapons and properly, you know, connect that back in the day. Looks like I'm finally starting to go for that height advantage. Of course, the TIE Interceptors back then fired off torpedoes, proton torpedoes. Now, of course, they've been switched to their special ability is now barrage. The recharges look like they're significantly faster overall. And there we go, another collision death. And I'll be back on the ground. Oh, and you got credit for your collision kills. Dude, for a while there was no collision credit. If you collided with someone, you didn't get credit for the kill for a while. And now you just don't happen that often. And of course, look at me, I'm in an AT-AT. Another feature that got totally stripped from the game. And look, I have this crazy overview of pretty much the entire field. Um, Definitely should not have taken a break even for a second from firing off this main cannon. Um, this mechanic is still relatively in place. Each time you score a kill, you get more time in the thing. The timer is a little different. There's an out for some reason. There's an hour format timer for what would be like maybe just over a minute, and I know it's a very tiny change to even bother with, but yeah, just look at this. I have just a crazy sight over the entire field. You can see Darth Vader pushing very aggressively. The heroes, like as I said before, the heroes would have no reason not to push aggressively since they would have that vampire mechanic. And there we go. And yeah, you could get crazy kill streaks off those AT-ATs. If I'd gotten that AT-AT a little earlier, it probably would have had a crazy score. You could just anyone picking up an AT-AT token could get something like crazy 60 kills on this board. I'm happy with that score for back in the day. Obviously, and the scoreboard looks different, and there's that AT-AT was less shifty. But anyway, that was my look backwards in time at the Battlefront Beta. Remember, guys, I welcome all of your feedback. It continues to drive the channel. Let me know if you're feeling any Battlefront Beta nostalgia, how you feel about all Battlefront's changes, etc. And that is it for me. Until next time, everybody, I shall see you Starside.